Hey everyone, welcome to episode 3 of Real Estate Insiders. My name is Isaac Kuehn and I am joined here with
Stas Manchik.
And today we are going to talk about always continuing educating yourself as a realtor. Just a reminder, if this is your first episode of the Real Estate Insiders, this is a podcast for realtors by realtors. We're talking about everything having to do with becoming a better realtor, like marketing, maintaining relationships, building in the business in your first year, which I'm still in my first year, and I'm learning from Stas, who is a broker, who's been in the business
What seems like to be forever.
What seems probably a half of my life, and I'm 19. So this is a show where I'm going to ask him questions. We're going to talk about certain topics and things like that. But specifically today, we're going to talk about why you always need to educate yourself as the industry changes and as tactics and strategies and things like that change. So Stas, you've been in the business since late or early 2012, right?
February 2012.
Yeah. So the market was a lot different back then. What are some of the early adaptations that you had to make to your business? Like for me, you always say to us at the brokerage meetings, you're like, the market's really hot. It's not going to be like this forever. Wait till your listings sit on the market for 60 days. So how did you adapt early in the business? Like how did you really position yourself?
Well, I mean, learning the ropes in the beginning, you have to find a good environment and a good mentor to teach you along the way. I had a few good mentors that I followed, that I watched on what they were doing, how they were doing it. Which you see what other people are doing to get successful, and you can take those and use them as your own milestones to hit for their success. And the saying that goes, work until your competition becomes, or I forgot what the saying is, but it's something like, work until your mentors become your actual competition.
Yeah.
Right. So the people that you're following, once you get to their level, then you start to beat them, right? And you start progressing forward by learning more. And, as you start out, your mentor might be somebody that's, doing the $4 to $8 million a year. And then once you progress to that level, now you need to find a new mentor.
Yeah.
Right. It's like with sports. It's like with everything, right? First you find a mentor to get you to one spot, and then to another spot, and to another spot. And that might take, 5, 10, 20, 30 different mentors or people that you surround yourself with to help you get to those different levels.
Yeah, that's for sure, is always kind of having a good mentor to kind of teach you the ropes in the beginning. But as far as say we have a market downtrend and things like that, you've lived through the changes in a market and things like that. What are some ways that agents can go from maybe an extremely bullish market to a bullish market? Well, how do you make that transition?
So, I mean, I didn't really live through the downturn, but I lived through the bottom. So in 2012, we were doing short sales, foreclosures, going into foreclosed properties and finding that, your walls are missing, your carpet's missing, and people are taking the copper out of the walls, and there's a fountain coming from the upstairs bathroom because somebody plugged up the bathtub and left it running before they left.
Yeah.
So those were the days where, you had to work twice as hard, always on. Price points were lower, so obviously your commissions were lower back then as well. So you had to work a lot harder to get to the next level. But it's all about creating that customer experience to where now they start referring you to their friends, their investor friends, their people that they surround themselves with, which is really important to create. People aren't going to really remember the 12, 20 houses that they purchased throughout their life right now because people are moving so often. But they are going to remember, the great people that made them feel awesome when they were going through those transactions, right? So It's always adapting, and it's always treating everybody the same way. Having the same marketing strategy that you would with a $70,000 condo or a $2 million lake home, right? So it's the same process, and as long as you can get yourself to that same process and just get yourself doing it every single time, it'll just be easy.
For sure. And I think as you progress in your career, I know when I first started, even though it's my first year, like my outlook on how I need to like run my business. I'm like straight up, I changed my mindset from like, okay, this is kind of like an employee position to like, this is straight up my business. Like I own this thing. Like,
yeah. So like we talked about a little bit in the meeting last Thursday, right? You are a professional and you need to portray yourself as a professional, because if you're not portraying yourself as a professional, people are going to use your time. They're going to take advantage of your time. And they're not going to look at you as a professional. They're going to look at you as somebody that's going to walk around and open doors for them.
Yeah.
And you to tell them where the kitchen is.
And no, and you have to be, you're like a doctor or a lawyer. You got your set times. Those are the big thing. He's like, you can't let others control your time. Like it's your business again, and you control your hours. You control all of that. And this is like another like aspect to your business. Like if you run your business tighter and better, then you'll even get better the results. Than I know like the example you used was kind of, if you're always working, you're not controlling your time, like you're showing houses like when other people are, your calendar is eventually just going to be ran by your clients, and you're never going to take control of your business.
Absolutely. So it's like the famous quote by, I hate to quote it, but Jay-Z said, you know, back in the early 2000s, he's like, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to, so from over the years of meeting all these real estate professionals, you know, the ones that are doing it on a high level, the ones that are succeeding and making that, you know, 7-figure gross commission a year, they're running their business like an actual business with a corporate structure. They're not just running around going, oh yeah, this happens, that happens, right? They run their life on a calendar. They run their life on a process. They don't bend the processes that they have for anyone, because everything is continuously the same.
Yeah, for sure. And so going off of that, what are some of the things that you've done to like continue learning?
So learning, you know, with our mandatory 15 hours of continuing education a year, but other than that, it's been
so much knowledge.
Going to different conferences, doing
like webinars
online,
reading articles,
networking with other realtors, other professionals in the industry, or either been high achieving professionals in other industries to see what they're doing in their industry and how they're doing it so well and how they got to the place that they are at. And trying to take some of those ideas and just take those into real estate to see what's going on there, especially right now with all the startups, all the technology companies. You know, they're growing from nothing to having, you know, billion-dollar valuations in round 1 or 2 of funding right away with a company that has no sales, no experience, no nothing. But their value becomes so high because of the value that they could potentially bring to the world, right?
Yeah, so that's what you're trying to do is yourself, is like positioning yourself to add that much value.
Right. And I mean, and that's in any business, right? You have to be able to be that person and be that agent that adds value in other people's lives, right? There's always going to be the discount brokerages. There's always going to be, you know, the people that charge 1%, 2%, whatever else. That's great for them if that works for them, right? But if you want to diversify yourself as the professional, as the person that, you know, goes out and does the regular, normal business of real estate, you have to now provide your clients with that value of why your commission structure is different than somebody else's, right? Mm-hmm. So they go, hey, this guy reached out to me with how competitive the market is, and he said he would sell my house at 1%. Will you do it at 1%? Well, most people, right? If you're in a bad situation or if you're in a bad position, you're going to run around and chase any deal you can.
Yeah.
But you need to just position yourself as a professional to be able to say, no, I can't do that. I can't match that deal because here's what I do differently. And here's why I'm different. This is the
value I add. This is why I charge what I charge.
Of course. You know, and that's why Walmart's been around forever and so is Target, right? But if you look at the two stores, they're completely opposite of each other.
Yeah.
So there's always going to be that person, but you have to just be able to provide your value to be able to charge what you charge.
For sure. And as we kind of come towards the end here, this upcoming Monday, speaking of continuing our education and things like that, we are going to
Lab Coat Agents Live in San Diego.
Yeah, and I'm really, really excited to go to this. It's going to be my first business/real estate conference ever.
For sure.
And I'm really excited to kind of meet up and meet some of these agents from all across the country.
Yeah, Nick and Tristan that started the Lab Coat Agents group online. I mean, they successfully created themselves to a level where, I think they talk about in the group is they can leave at any time and their business runs itself.
Yeah. And I think as I advance my career, I think if I get like one big thing from this trip, like learn one big lesson that's going to affect my business, it's going to be way worth it. And I think I'm going to learn a lot more than just one thing.
Absolutely. I mean, there's 50 speakers and 47 success stories or something like that.
Yeah,
so I'm super pumped to
3 days and
network with people and see what they're doing it and how they're doing it.
Now we get out of this cold, rainy Minnesota and we get to go to San Diego for a couple of days.
That's right.
The sunniest place in the world. No, but I'm super excited to go. I think as we advance VSM and things like that, we're getting a lot more, paying a lot more attention to like automation in our systems. Not so much automation, but just the process of what we're doing. And I think
it'll be
same thing with marketing. I think we're gonna go there and we're gonna learn a lot more stuff that we can come back and immediately apply to VSM.
Absolutely, to apply to be able to provide more value to our clients.
For sure. And that being said, guys, stay tuned for our trip next week. I'm going to be videoing the entire thing, making a little like film/vlog of our trip there. We'll probably record, since it will be a Wednesday when we get there, we're going to record an episode of Real Estate Insiders down there. I think that will be our last day there. So
our last day is Thursday, so Wednesday is the midday.
So midday, I think this episode will come out halfway through that, so we're going to be able to give you agents a little bit of information on what we've learned so far there, and you can kind of soak in our experience without even going. So That's good. Is there any final thoughts or any little tidbits you want to leave anyone with?
Keep growing. Don't sit in one position. Keep growing.
Keep going, guys. Thank you guys for listening to or watching, because this is on Facebook and our YouTube channel, by the way, if you're listening to this on the podcast. Thank you guys for listening to the third episode of the Real Estate Insiders, and we'll catch you guys next time.
See you guys later.